This is the non-calculated section of the Year 7 2014 Task 1 on integers, positive and negative integers. Looking at question 1, which of the following is not an integer? Now an integer, it has to be a whole number, a positive or negative whole number, or 0. So a whole number or 0, and the ones that aren't integers are negative 8.5 and 1.2. So it can be a positive or a negative whole number or 0. Okay, so two of those are not integers. Now state the opposite of south, well that's north, and the opposite of down, that's up. And write the following numbers in ascending order from smallest to biggest. So the smallest number would be negative 5, there it is there, and then negative 3, and then 0, and 2, and 4. So that is in ascending order, which is from smallest to biggest. Okay, question D. Plot all the numbers on the number line below that are even by colouring in the circles. So we want all of the even numbers. So 2 is even, negative 8 is even, negative 6 is even, negative 4 is even, negative 2 is even as well, because the definition of even numbers is that they are divisible by 2, and you can divide 0 by 2 and you'll get 0. Okay? Now complete the addition table below. So we're adding 9, so we want to do 9 plus negative 3. So remember, when you see a plus and a negative, it becomes a takeaway. So 9 take away 3, and that's 6. And then we've got negative 5 plus negative 3. Now the plus and the minus, the plus negative means to take away. So negative 5 take away 3. So negative 5 and take away 3 is negative 8. Okay, now question 2, insert a less than or greater than sign in the squares below. We know that negative 6 is smaller than 0, so it's less than. Now if you get confused, the pointy little end of the symbol faces the smaller number, and the big open mouth here, this open bit, faces the larger number. And we know that 10 is greater than, larger than negative 2, again pointy small bit facing negative 2, open large bit facing the 10. Now, evaluate the following. 10 take away 5. So you're at positive 10 and you're going back 15 units or going down 15. So that will take you below 0 because you're taking away more than 10. So that will be negative 5. Now, a positive times a negative. This is 2 times negative 5. Now, a positive times a negative is a negative. And 2 times 5 is 10. Now, the next question. Negative 30 divided by negative 15. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, so it's positive 6, because 30 divided by 5 is 6. And then if you see take away a negative, when we take away a negative, it becomes a, we add, okay, it becomes a positive. So 2 take away negative 5. Just think, if you're taking away a negative feeling, you would feel better. You would feel more positive. So 2 plus 5, which is 7. Now evaluate the following, and you have to show all working to gain full marks. Now we have to use BODMAS here. And here we've got a combination of adding and multiplying. So 4 plus 2 times negative 3. BODMAS says we have to do multiplication and division before addition and subtraction. So that will be 4 plus, now 2 times negative 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, because a positive times a negative is a negative. Now remember, your plus negative becomes a takeaway. So it's 4 take away 6. Remember, we're taking away more than what we've got, so we end up with a negative number. 4 take away 6 is negative 2. Now the next question here, we've got 8 plus negative 3 times negative 4. Now, order of operations, you must do the multiplication first before the addition. So we've got 8 plus. Now, a negative times a negative is a positive. So negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. So 8 plus, the answer to this is positive 12. 8 plus 12 is 20. Okay, now the next question. Remember, we've got BIDMAS or BODMAS. doesn't matter which one you use, or BIDMAS. Brackets first, operations like square root or indices or next, and then division, multiplication go together, and addition, subtraction go together. So looking here, we've got brackets first. They must be done first. So I've got 16 divided by, I get to my bracket and I need to write down the answer from my bracket. So negative 4 plus 6, and that is positive 2. So negative 4, 4 down, 6 up. There's more ups than downs, so it'll be positive. And 16 now divided by 2 is 8. The next question, negative 45 divided by 70 minus 75. So negative 45 is on the numerator, nothing we can do with that. But 70 take away 75 is negative 5, because I'm taking away more than what I've got. And a negative divided by a negative. So negative 45 divided by 5 will be a positive answer. And 45 divided by 5 is 9. So the answer is positive 9, or we can just write 9. Now, the next question here. 2 plus 3 times 2, take away 3 times 6 divided by negative 2 plus 1. Now, this is a bit tricky. You have to do your brackets first, okay? So there are a few sets of brackets, so we're going to do all those first. So 2 plus 3 needs to be done first, and 6 divided by negative 2 needs to be done. Now, I'm just actually going to write the answers to those underneath. 2 plus 3 is 5. And 6 divided by negative 2, now positive divided by a negative is a negative. So 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. Now I'm going to rewrite this without the brackets, but putting the answers for those brackets. So 2 plus 3 is 5, then I go times 2. That's where I'm up to. Take away 3 times whatever I got here, which is negative 3. So that's done up to there, and then plus 1. Now we have the same problem again. We need to use order of operations, and I have to do multiplication before addition and subtraction. So 5 times 2 needs to be done, and 3 times negative 3 needs to be done. So I've got 5 times 2 is 10, and then this is a takeaway sign, take away. 3 times negative 3, now a positive times a negative is a negative, so it's 10 take away negative 9 plus 1. Now, take away negative, those two signs together need to be converted to a single sign. That is 10, take away negative becomes a plus. So 10 plus 9 plus 1. And that's 10 plus 9 is 19 plus 1. The answer is 20. Now, the next question is to circle all the prime numbers from that list. The prime numbers are 7 because the only factors are 7 times 1. 11 is also prime because it's got the factors only 11 times 1. 21 is not prime because you can do 7 times 3 as well as 1 times 21, so that is not prime. 23 is prime, and 13 is not because you can do 3 times 13. Now, how do we know that it's divisible by 3? You can add up the digits. 3 plus 9 is 12. And 12 is divisible by 3. So we know that 3 does go into that because, just having a quick look, 3 goes into 3 once, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. So it's composite. The prime ones are circled in purple. Question 3. What is the temperature difference between the following thermometers? If there is a temperature drop, use a negative sign. So from A to B. So from A, we start at 7. And we've gone down to negative 3. So from 7 down to 0 is 7, and then down another 3. So we've the difference would be 10, okay? Because from 7 to 0, that's 7, and from 0 to negative 3, that's another 3 difference, okay? So that's a difference of 10. Now from thermometers B to C. So that is a drop from A to B. So if there is a temperature drop, we use a negative. So we've gone down 10. Now let's look at from B to C. We've gone up. Up from B, up from negative 3 to 0. So we can already see that that difference is up 3. Okay. I can write plus 3 or just 3. Okay. And the last one, A and D. Looks like we've dropped from 0 Sorry, no, A and D. We've dropped from 7 down to -7. Sorry. So A is up here at 7, and we've dropped down to -7, so we should drop to 0 first. That's 7 down, and another 7 down. So that drop is -14, because I'm going down 7 and down 7. Okay? All right. Now, question B. At 8 p.m. in the snowy mountains, the temperature was measured to be 3 degrees. If the temperature dropped at an average rate of 4 degrees each hour, calculate the expected temperature at 11 p.m. So at 8 p.m., the temperature is 3. And at 9, it's going to have dropped 4. And at 10, it's going to have dropped another 4. And at 11, it's going to have dropped 4. So we're going to have to take away 4 degrees, and take away another 4, and then take away another 4. So 3 take away 4 is -1. And -1 take away 4 is -5. And -5 take away 4 is -9 degrees. So the expected temperature at 11 p.m. is -9 degrees. Okay, the next question. List all the multiples of 4 that are less than 20. So multiples, it's like your times tables. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. We cannot include 20 because we want the multiples of 4 that are less than 20. And question D. If the factors of 32 are 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 and 32, the next question is to find the highest common factor of 32 and 48. Well, let's write down what the factors of 48 are. Now they are 1 and its partner is 48. Now 48 is even, so 2 is a factor of 48 and its partner, 2 times 24 is 48. 48 is also divisible by 3 because 4 plus 8 is 12 and 12 is divisible by 3. So let's look at 3 into 48, and that's 3 into 4 goes once, 1 remainder. 3 into 18 goes 6 times, so its partner is 16. Now we know that 4 times 12 is 48, so 4 and 12. So I still need to add some more. I know that 6 goes into 48, and 6 times 8 is 48. And I think that's all the factors. So the next question is to find the highest common factor. So let's look at the highest one here, 32. There isn't a 32 there. There's a 16 there, and there's also a 16 here. So therefore, the highest common factor of 48 and 32 is 16. The other thing you could have just done is see whether 32 goes into 48, and to see whether 16 goes into 48. And 16 times 3 is 48, so the highest common factor is 16. Question 4 is to write the following as a single number. So this is 9 times 10 to the power of 5, that's 900,000. Plus, I have no 10,000s. I have no thousands, but I have 200s. 10 squared is 100, so it's plus 200. I have 8 tens, which is 80, and I have 6 units. So this will be 900,000 and 286. Okay? So when you've got 9 times 10 to the power of 5, you've got 5 zeros there. Okay? 2 times 10 squared. 10 squared is 10 times 10, which is 100. So 2 times 100 is 200. Okay? Now question B, 4B. Emily has $740 in her St. George account. If she withdraws $25 each week, how much will she have in her account after 8 weeks? Now, instead of subtracting 25 8 times, let's just work out what 25 times 8 is. And that is, so you can work it out on the side, or a lot of you will know that 25 times 4 is 100. So 25 times 8 is 200, or you can just work it out with the algorithm. 5 times 8 is 40. 0 carry 4. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 is 20, so it's 200. So we need to do 740, take away 200, and that gives us $540. And the next question says, if she continues to withdraw $25 each week, after how many weeks will her account be in overdraft? Now, we need to see how many 25s go into 740. Now, we know that 25 times 4 is 100. So, every 4 25s make 100. I need 700. So, 25 times 4 is 100, times another 7, that's 100. 100 times 7, that's 700. Now, that's 28 lots of 25. So that's 28 lots of 25. Okay? Now, I still won't be in the negative. If I do 740 take away 700, I've still got $40 left. I'll still need to take away another, so I've got 740. If I take away 700, that's 28 weeks. That gives me 40. But I can still take away another 25 and another 25, then I'll be in the negative. Okay? That gives me negative 10. So this was going to be 28 lots and another one and another one. Looks like 30 weeks. 30 weeks of withdrawing. Okay? Now what you could have just done, instead of like that, is just to do the following. Because it's only worth 1 mark, 740 divided by 25, and try and divide that, but it is a non-calculator section, so, okay, probably best to do it like this. Every 4 withdrawals is $100, and I need $700, so I need 7 of those 4s, 4 7s are 28, and that takes me down to $40, 740 minus 700 is $40, and I'd still need to, another 25 would take me down to 15, and another 25 would take me down to negative $10. So that's why it's 30 weeks. Now the next question, when you subtract a negative integer from a negative integer, the answer is always negative. Let's have a look. I'm going to do the example down here. So let's say I've got negative 2, that's a negative integer, and I'm going to subtract another negative integer like negative 3, for example. So let's have a look. Negative 2, take away means to subtract, and here's my other negative integer, negative 3. So that's negative 2, take away negative means to plus, so take away negative is plus 3. So negative 2 plus 3 is positive 1, so that is not correct. So it is false, alright, and that's my example that shows that it's false, but if I would have chosen an example like this, negative 3 take away negative 2, I would have got a negative answer, but it doesn't mean that every single time that I will get a negative answer. I sometimes get positive answers. So this is negative 3. Take away negative means to add 2. Now negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. The thing says that it is always negative, and it's not always negative. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative. So you cannot say that that is a true statement. It's a false statement. Now the next question here is to describe a quick mental method for the following calculation. 30 times 20 equals 570. Now that is almost like doing 30 times 20. Okay? I'm just going to come over here. Notice that 19 is 20 take away 1. Okay? So that's really, so we want 19 lots of 30. So we could do 20 lots of 30, but I've done 1 lot too many. So it's 30 times 20, take away 30 times 1. Okay? Because I know that 19 is 20, take away 1. So I'll multiply it by 20, but I know my answer is going to be too big. So this number here was too big by 1, so I'm going to take away 30 times 1. Now 30 times 20, 3 times 2 is 6, and you add 2 zeros, so 600. Take away 30. Which is 570. Now another way we could have done this is as follows. Instead of doing 30 times 19, we could have done, we could have broken up the 30. So 30 times 19. I could really have done 3 times 10 is 30. We know that 3 times 10 is 30 times 19. Now, oh, sorry. So 10 times 19 is 190, so that's 3 times 190. And we could have looked at 19 times 3. I don't know if this method is much easier. But 19 times 3 is almost 20 times 3. So it would be sort of the same thing again, 19 and 19 and 19. Well, that's 60, take away 1, take away 1, take away 1. That's 57 and add a 0. But I think this method over here is better. Okay? And just 2 more questions. Now, question B here. As the bus left the station for its first trip, it has 8 empty seats. So we've got 8 seats empty. We've got 32 people in seats. And we've got 7 standing. Now, this as the bus first left the station. Now, it says at the next bus stop, 5 passengers get off. So 5 off and 15 on. So 5 off and 15 on means that really 10 people got on. 10 people got on. There's an extra 10 people on the bus now. And then it said that all the seats were occupied. Okay? And the next question was how many people are standing. Now, if 10 people got on and they sat in all those empty seats, so 8 of those people sat in the seats, so 10 people got on. There are 8 free seats. So 10 people, 8 of these people sat on the seats. So 8 sat on the empty seats, and another 2 must have stood up. There were 2 standing from this 10. So remember, we've already got 7 standing. So how many passengers are left standing? It's those 7 plus these 2. 7 plus 2 is 9 people still standing. Okay? Now for the last question here. What is a possible solution to the following? So something, take away 2 times, I think this is a plus 6, equals negative 10. Now, let's think. So we've got something times something is negative 10. Let's think of any numbers that multiply to give negative 10. You could have 5 times negative 2. That gives you negative 10. Or you could have negative 5 times 2 gives you negative 10, because a positive times a negative is negative. Or you could have 10 times negative 1 would give you negative 10. Or you could have negative 10 times 1. That would also give you negative 10. So what we need to do, we need to see if we can put a number in the triangle and a number in the box to make one of these combinations. So I'm going to go with the 10 times negative 1. So I'd like to make this one 10. So if I want to make this 10, I would have a 4 there. 4 plus 6 is 10. And if I want to make this negative 1, right, so negative 1 times 10, remember, is the same as 10 times negative 1. If I want to make this one negative 1, it would be 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So that would be negative 1 times 10 is negative 10. Now that's just one possible solution. There are many others that we could put, okay? I might just try, say, one of these if I want to. Like, you could try any of the others, okay?